What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another game day update. I'm Kelcey, and that's Mike. And today we are bringing you the Memphis Grizzlies taking on the Los Angeles Clippers, minus a whole bunch of guys on their end. We will get to that. Mike, should we start with the injury update? The Grizzlies is easy, right?
Yeah, there's a clean sheet of paper for the Grizzlies. I'm looking for a clean sheet of paper, and I don't have a clean sheet of paper around here, but the Grizzlies injury report is clear for the third or fourth straight game. They've been healthy for an entire week. Not so much for the Clippers. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard is not back yet. He's still recovering from his surgery. But I just heard that, possibly Terrence Mann as well as Nick Batum will be out for the Los Angeles Clippers. So those are two quality rotation guys, starter type guys who they rely on those wings. And, it's one of those situations where it's an opportunity night potentially for the Memphis Grizzlies that they could take advantage of some of the absences that the Clippers have.
Yeah, on top of that, Marcus Morris Sr. is out, and Justice Winslow didn't make the trip. He's out due to personal reasons. I know that his girlfriend was pregnant, so I don't want to put rumors out there, but I'm just going to put that out there.
Look at you with the scoop, TMZ
Well,
style scoop. I see you.
Well, folks, it's on Instagram. So anyway, the Clippers are 8-2 in their last 10. The Grizzlies are 5-5 in their last 10. These are two very, very different teams. They score in different ways. They defend in different ways. This is going to be a very interesting matchup, I think, for both teams. When you look at how these teams play, the personnel that is on these teams, obviously PG is still in. What are you looking for tonight? What's going on?
Well, I mean, if you're the Grizzlies, you want to make sure the Clippers are a one-dimensional scoring team, and I think that's how they had success in that second game of the season, second game of the regular season, when the Grizzlies went out for their first road game and beat the Clippers 120-114, I believe it was. And you got a lot of Paul George. He had a 40-point game in that game, but there wasn't a lot of help for Paul George, particularly in the second half of that game. What you got from the Grizzlies was a bunch of help, a bunch of balance. 5 guys scored in double figures. All 5 starters were in double figures for the Grizzlies. And you also got 15 made three-pointers from the Grizzlies in that game. So some of the things that they did well offensively back then set the tone for them to get off to that great start. So to me, this is going to be about defense. Can you isolate and make sure that not multiple guys hurt you if you're the Grizzlies and you're looking at the Clippers? So that's going to be key for me, is that matchup right there. Eliminate or isolate Paul George. He's going to get his. Don't let 2, 3, 4 other guys get off. What do you see as the key from that standpoint?
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. When another team has a player that is so prolific in scoring, it happens a lot with, let's say, Portland. If you're going to let Damian Lillard score 30, 40, you can't let everyone else score more than, like 12. And I think that does go with PG today. So I'm going to go with the same kind of key. I think the key player today for the Grizzlies is on the defensive end going to be Dillon Brooks. Dillon is that player who brings the spark on defense, who is going to have to make Paul George frustrated. He's going to have to be physical. He's going to have to try and get in his head. And I think Dillon is up for the task at all times. So I think that'll be good for him. And on the offensive end, as much as it's a little bit of everyone, because this team scores by committee, I think Jaren is going to have another big Jaren game. He got a little bit more, like himself in the last game. We saw him hit a few from 3. He's on like a 10-game streak of having a block per game. It might be more than that. And I think it's a little bit of everyone. It is the starters. We're going to need bench production today, but with Terrence Mann out for the Clippers, I think the Grizzlies have a really good shot. Like, things are in their favor right now.
They should be. I mean, and I'm not going to say they should be, because again, they're not too far removed from, one of the biggest struggle weeks that they've had, losing 3 straight and 4 out of 5 against some teams that they could have beaten. They certainly were more talented than, when you look at it. So they did have some struggles. Houston didn't correct everything for the Grizzlies. Obviously, Houston is a team that is playing for the lottery. They just aren't competitive right now. So you get a real true test tonight, even though the Clippers are shorthanded. If you're the Grizzlies, this is still about you. You're on your home floor. You know what you want to get to. You've had 2 days of practice, and that's something that's rare in this NBA schedule these last 2 years. You get back-to-back days of practice coming off of a great performance on Monday and your home win over the Rockets. So now what you see from the Grizzlies going into this game, and you're completely healthy, I don't think there are many excuses for laying a dud out there. You know what I mean? And this is one where I think Taylor Jenkins knows. I think Ja Morant has the attention of his teammates. And frankly, to your point, Dillon Brooks talked today after shoot-around about being locked in and getting his defensive legs underneath him the way that he wants to have them. And that was the way he had them at the end of last season. So those are some things to look forward to. And if you're the Grizzlies also, you want to use that bench. You know, the Clippers are shorthanded on their bench. Your bench is fully stocked. And I think that's going to be another key too, is the bench production in this game.
And Coach Jenkins from the very beginning has been preaching defense. You mentioned it. This game is going to come down to defense. LA doesn't score so much in the paint. Right now they're 30th. No, what are they? They're 25th. They're 30th in something. Second chance points. That's because they shoot at a really high clip. They're 25th in the league in points in the paint. The Grizzlies are first. So the Grizzlies need to continue to attack on that offensive end, get their points in the paint. That's a lot to do with their guards and driving and fast break points. But the Clippers don't. The Clippers don't hit it in there. Yeah.
No, they don't. They hunt. They screen and pop. They pick and flare. They hunt for 3-pointers coming off of those screens. They get a lot of actions that start in the paint, but it's all to get guys on down screens coming out. And you know, that tells you what they want to do. If they're not hitting the 3 ball, they're going to shoot their way in or out of games, and that's what they've traditionally done. Yeah.
Exactly. So get in their heads, run them off the line. I know a lot in practices they're running them off the line and then continuing to make it the almost half circle back. So run them off the line. It's going to be a good game tonight. I'm excited just because of how different. We've had a lot of like young teams that do the similar things in the Grizzlies. This is one of the first games we're coming into FedExForum, and it's going to be 2 completely different styles going head to head.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be a clash of styles. You know, basically a clash. And the Grizzlies have had the Clippers number, if you really think about it. Like, one of the biggest victories the Grizzlies had last season or a couple seasons ago was in LA. You know, you look at what they've done this past season to start this season. They won in LA against the Clippers. And even that game here, I remember vividly when the Clippers came here and Dylan Brooks snatched the ball away from, was it Kawhi Leonard or Paul George? It was one of those games where, you know, it was a 50-50 loose ball. And I believe it was Dylan Brooks, and it was Paul George or Kawhi Leonard, and Dylan just snatched it away from him. And that basically took the game away from the Clippers in that situation too. So I like the way that these guys match up. The Grizzlies know they have some confidence in this against this particular team. And hopefully they can put 2 wins together and then turn their way towards this upcoming weekend road trip in Minnesota on Saturday and Salt Lake City against the Jazz on Monday.
All right. I like it. We're ready. I hope everyone at home is ready too. The game should stop at 7 o'clock here at FedExForum. So you can get your tickets if you want to come and hang out with Mike and I. It's 901-888-HOOP. Or if you're chilling at home, you can watch in Valley Sports Southeast or on the radio at 92.9 ESPN Radio. And make sure you're following along from start to finish. The Memphis Grizzlies social at MemGrizz has got you covered from walk-ins to post-game. So we'll see you guys there.